All right, so I have a question for all of you. If you're watching Star Wars Resistance and you've seen the, I guess the leaked photos from the set that Jason Ward over at Making Star Wars posted, I posted them on Instagram and on my Facebook page. Do you think that Star Wars Resistance is going to cross over into Star Wars Episode 9? Now, if you're not watching Resistance at all, I'm going to read you a short summary of what the show is about, right? So Poe Dameron recruits this young pilot from the New Republic's military. His name is Kazuda Xiono. We call him Kaz, right? So Kaz becomes a spy for the Resistance to keep tabs on the growing threat of the First Order. So Kaz goes to this... It looks like a big aircraft carrier, basically. It's called the Colossus. That's what it is. It's an aircraft refueling station on the ocean planet Castilon, right? And so I guess they're like doing mining stuff because it's a fueling station, right? And the whole thing is the galaxy's best pilots hang out there. They race. They're part of the defense for the aircraft carrier. And someone there is working for the First Order. So Kaz is there as a spy to figure out who's there as the first, because think about it, the First Order's got this fleet. They want control of the Colossus, right? They want control of it for the fuel, right? Because they're getting ready to launch their attack on the New Republic, and you know, they're going on the offensive. This is 6 months before the events in The Force Awakens, right? So the first episode, it's a double episode, deals with Kaz trying to get in with the crew, introducing him, who he is. It's kind of sad because we find out that his father is a senator there on Hosnian Prime, and so you know, it's like, is Kaz gonna find out about, you know, the attack on the Starkiller base attack on Hosnian Prime in time to get his dad out before, you know, it all goes kaput? We'll have to wait and see. But I think that Kaz could at least have some kind of Easter egg in Episode 9. The reason I say that is because there was a question after The Last Jedi: where are the rest of the X-Wing pilots that Poe was with? Where is Black Squadron? And the answer that I heard, at least after The Last Jedi came out a few weeks later, was that Black Squadron was somewhere else on a mission, and Poe stayed with everyone else. The rest of his crew, they're off doing something else. Kaz could have been with them. Kaz could have been on another mission, spying. Maybe he infiltrated the First Order, or he's still working with these pilots from Colossus, and he's doing something else. The reason that I'm speculating on all of this, I don't have inside sources at Pinewood Studios, is this picture that came from the set, that I guess this came from Jason Ward over at Making Star Wars. This matches the colors of that X-Wing that Kaz is working on right now in Star Wars Resistance, right? It's orange, it's white. This looks like it's crashed, right? And it appears to be on that forest planet or the plain planet. I think there's been images of the Millennium Falcon on that forest planet. I don't know if they're copying the Endor moon, right? And I said it would be funny if all of the planets that we see in Episode 9 line up with the planets in Return of the Jedi. I think that would be kind of a really funny thing. All these people want J.J. Abrams to come in and save the saga, save the franchise after Ruin Johnson destroyed it with The Last Jedi. But, you know, before then, because this is how fandoms work, like fandoms, if you listen to everything, it's like nobody ever really knows what they want. That's why they actually don't listen to the fans, because if you did, you'd never have a movie, right? Because what? The big gripe over The Force Awakens was that it was a rehash of A New Hope. And then The Last Jedi was like nothing that we've seen before. So what if JJ comes back and was like, well, I'm going to do a rehash of Return of the Jedi now, right? To troll everybody, to have the final laugh, right? So be careful what you wish for, fandom. But my point is that I think it would be interesting. It would actually, I don't know how long Star Wars Resistance is going to go on, how long it's going to last, but this idea that we're telling the stories from a different point of view, there are different storylines going on within. So you have the movie, and I said this before, you've got the movie, and then you have like the small screen stories and the books and comic books. And at some point we need to bring all of this where it's all telling stories on the same part of the timeline, but you've got different branches and different narratives, and it's like, oh, this is what's going on when Rey and Finn and Poe are doing this thing, this other thing was going on too. Oh, well, that's why we didn't see the Knights of Ren in The Last Jedi, because they're off doing this thing, and Kaz and some of these other people are spying on them. And I think that would be awesome, and it would, and you know, it'd be like Star Wars Rebels. You know, Star Wars Rebels sucked the first season. I watched it, but it was real difficult. And just like Star Wars Resistance, I'm caught up on all the episodes now. I like it, but you know, because I'm like, hey man, I get to sit here and watch and kind of veg out and not think about anything. And then, but then, and you know, it's kind of goofy. But then they hit you with something. You're like, oh, just like the guy with the dreads, the black dude that's that Kaz works for. We find out that he fought in the Battle of Jakku, and he had a wife and he had a kid. And it's like, what happened to his wife and kid? And then my mind started kind of wandering, like, what if that's Finn's dad? How crazy would that be if that dude is Finn's dad, right? See, might want to start watching Resistance, man. I just said, what if that dude, because we don't know what happened to his wife and his kid. It's like, oh, the First Order came and they attacked me because they knew, you know, they were getting revenge and I was living, you know, ghetto fabulous. What if the head mechanic dude, I can't remember his name, but what if, is his name Yaeger? Yeah, Jarek Yaeger. What if Yaeger turns out to be Finn's dad? Because it's like 1 minute he was living lavish, right? It looked like he was from a good planet, right? His wife was dressed like a queen, and he had his son in a little hollow picture. And it's like, what happened to your life, man? Like, what's going on? And at that point in time, Finn is like 23, 24. So this is 6 months before we get introduced to Finn. At this point, he's FN 2187 with no memory of where he came from or anything else. Maybe the First Order rolled up and was like, oh, yeah, you fought in the Battle of Jakku. You were a good, he might have defected from the Empire, joined the rebellion, and, you know, you were a good pilot. You good stock. We taking that kid from you. He's ours now, you know, and he's under the impression his wife was killed and his kid too, and he's off on the Colossus fixing ships, and, you know, meanwhile his son has become the top 1% of all stormtrooper cadets in training, and goes on to assist with the destruction of Starkiller Base. So I don't know, man, that like stuff like that, all those what if questions, or Phasma popped up in, well, actually I think we saw Phasma before, but Phasma was in episode 2, and she looked, hey man, people don't like the animation, but that animation with Phasma in that chrome armor, she looked dope, right? And then we see that stormtrooper in red armor, the pilot. Is that Cardinal? Is it not? I was under the impression that Cardinal left the First Order a few years before this, but hey man, I don't know. Could that turn out to be Cardinal in that red armor? And then that makes me wonder, like, well, when did Cardinal actually leave? Like, how close in the timeline is the Phasma novel to the events in the Force Awakens? Because I never got clarity on that. So I don't know, man. Star Wars Resistance is adding more stuff to the story, and I like it, and I think you guys should check it out if if you're able to. If you want me to do videos on it, I totally will. I won't be able to do that until next month when I have more time to cover it, which is why I haven't covered those first 3 episodes. I'm kind of hoping that they'll kind of go slow bringing them out. That way I have time to get caught up once my schedule frees up in a few more weeks. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that that's Kaz's, I started to say TIE fighter, his X-Wing that's crashed on the desert planet? Could Kaz be working with Black Squadron and maybe Poe and Finn's mission? Because it looks like the pictures that we've seen is Poe, Finn, and Chewie on a planet, either the forest planet or they're going to a planet that's like prairies and stuff. Because we've seen those pictures. Finn rocking his new haircut, his high top fade he got the S curl going on. Oh man, I put no chemicals. Those only juices and berries. Props if you know where that reference. But maybe they're on a mission to recover some intel, and maybe Kaz unfortunately didn't make it, but they're trying to recover some intel that Kaz has for them on the First Order that goes beyond Star Killer Base and that. And then what if it's cool if we learn that Kaz was the one who supplied the Resistance with the intel that they did have on Star Killer Base that we saw in The Force Awakens. So I don't know, man. It's like, it's a kid's show, but it's adding more to the story. It's giving more depth, and it's giving us other possibilities and things that could pop up in Episode 9 that next year this time we're going to be I can't say that. We're going to be geeking out to get ready to see. Think about it. Next year this time we will have trailers. We're going to be all hyped up the same way we were a year ago after we saw freaking The Last Jedi trailer and it looked like Kylo Ren reached his hand out to Rey, and he did, but they edited. Those scenes weren't exactly the way they were in the movie, but he did extend the hand to Rey, and and the Reylo people were very excited. So we'll have to wait and see. But man, I don't know, man. I feel like Resistance is kind of giving me life as far as Star Wars goes. When I saw that X-Wing, and I'm like, wait a minute, that kind of looks like the X-Wing that the Kaz is trying to fix up right now. What if it's the same one? What if this show that people are like, I don't like it, I don't like the art, I'm not gonna watch it, it sucks, I'm not. And it could be like the thing that it's like, hey man, this show is setting up Episode 9, the bigger story, right? We'll have to wait and see. So I don't know. But if you haven't been watching Resistance, is all of this that I've said right now, is it making you like either want to check out Resistance, or Prince, or you need to start watching it, or Alex, I'm going to go watch his videos on Resistance because I think he's the only one covering the show right now. And I know Alex and Molly are watching this, but hey, man, if y'all want me to talk Resistance with Alex, I'm down for it. I'm up for it, man. If he and Molly are up for it, I'll do it. Let's make it happen, baby. Once we get more about it.
If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey of becoming the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Make sure to check out more videos from this channel, especially the one that YouTube has recommended for you. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you. Always.